Welcome back. All right, a big decision is in the pipeline. If goes as planned, then it's likely that many of India's top Hindu shrines may not allow for people of any other faith to enter. Uttarakhand is now at the center of a national conversation after decisions and proposals to restrict religious spaces only to Hindus have now made headlines. Temple authorities there in the state have moved to bar non-Hindus from entering major Himalayan shrines. That includes Gangotri Dham, Badrinath, Kedarnath and the winter abode of Ma Ganga at Mukba. Now, citing the reasons to why they've made this decision and are hoping for people to agree with it, all stakeholders, is because they believe they want to preserve these long-standing religious places and their traditions and its sanctity as it's sacred. The sacred sites needs to preserve its sanctity. So therefore, a decision has been taken. It's yet to be implemented though. The Sri Gangotri Temple Committee has said that the decision was made unanimously during a meeting that was held. The Ganga Sabha, the body that manages the Har Ki Pauri Ghat, and numerous seers have requested the state government to completely ban the entry of non-Hindus at all the 105 ghats in Haridwar, a town that spreads over 120 square kilometers, and to officially designate Haridwar and Rishikesh as Sanatan Pavitra Sheher, that literally translates to sacred cities of the Hindu religion. They want to preserve the tradition and identity of these sites that is considered very unique and sacred in Hindu belief. Now, remember the scale of people who arrive at these shrines. Kedarnath, nearly 1.7 million people who arrive there annually. Badrinath has 1.6 million visitors who come by annually. Gangotri has 7.5 lakh people who come there annually, summer peak traffic there. And I could go on. The scale itself in Badrinath, 2.7 lakh to a Sikh pilgrimage near Badrinath. So look at the number of people who actually come to these shrines, who visit there annually either for worship or just to feel that spirituality, to feel what Sanatan Dharma and Hinduism really has to offer. It's really a place celebrated. But here you have Hindu priests saying that it should be sacred only for Hindus to be entering the areas. It should not be allowed for non-Hindus. Now, this is similar to what probably the Mecca has in place. The Mecca mandates that only Muslims be allowed inside and no non-Muslims are allowed inside Mecca. Now, could this be a similar rule that would be implemented at these religious sites in India? It's got to be watched to what the committee finally decides, because there are so many factors in place when it comes to economy. Stakeholders who in fact have their livelihood around these areas, these pilgrim areas, are going to be hugely impacted. If I could tell you, the tradition, of course, we understand on one hand, but the broader consequences, it's not just religious freedom, but also for millions, they depend on tourism and the pilgrimage economies, especially in towns where tourists of all faiths support local livelihoods. They're going to be heavily impacted. So can our governments really afford this? Of course, the Congress firing at the Uttarakhand government, raising a lot of questions as to how this could be done in a country like ours. Uttar Pradesh, in fact, in response to the committee's decision, Uttarakhand Chief Minister Pushkar Singh Dhami has said that the state government will proceed after reviewing certain laws that enacted regarding these ancient religious sites in the past, and they're going to decide based on that. He also clarified that the opinions of all stakeholders will be considered, but no final policy has been announced yet. That's not been drafted as yet. This is just what they're mulling over. Opposition has criticized the state. Former Uttarakhand Chief Minister, senior Congress leader Harish Rawat said other religions across the world, of course, like I mentioned, barring Mecca, other religions across the world attract people to their places of worship. They do not prohibit, they attract. So that the greatness and qualities of one's religion can be accepted by other people as well. Now, a new tradition has been set into motion. Perhaps there are no issues left on their election agenda, so new agendas are being invented. This is the opposition Congress's response to this decision taken by the Uttarakhand government. Critics have warned that the repercussions could be huge, but let's hear it. Reactions coming in on that.
जितने भी ये धार्मिक स्थल हैं, जो भी हमारे पौराणिक स्थल हैं, हमारे देव स्थान हैं, इन स्थानों को देखने वाले, उनका संचालन करने वाले वहाँ के सभी हमारे जो धार्मिक संगठनों के लोग हैं, तीर्थ सभा के लोग हैं, गंगा सभा के लोग हैं, केदार सभा के लोग हैं, बद्री केदार मंदिर समिति के लोग हैं, हमारा पूज्य संत समाज है, वो सब जो भी चूँकि वही उसका संचालन करते हैं, हमने कहा है कि उनकी जो भी उसमें राय होगी या जो उनका मत होगा उसके अनुसार ही सरकार आगे बढ़ेगी। और ये स्थान हमारे बहुत पौराणिक महत्व के स्थान हैं और इन स्थानों के पहले समय में कुछ कानून भी बने हुए हैं। हम उन कानूनों का भी अध्ययन कर रहे हैं, उसके आधार पर हम आगे बढ़ेंगे।
दुनिया भर में मैं देखता हूँ दूसरे धर्मस्थल अपने धर्मस्थल के प्रति लोगों को आकर्षित करते हैं, प्रतिबंधित नहीं करते, आकर्षित करते हैं, ताकि आपके धर्म की जो महानताएं हैं, जो गुण हैं, जो उनके अच्छे उपदेश हैं, उनको लोग ग्रहण कर सके और उससे आपके धर्म की महत्ता बढ़े और आपके धर्मस्थलों की महत्ता बढ़े। अब ये नया रिवाज चला है, लगता है चुनावी एजेंडे में और कोई मुद्दे रह नहीं गए हैं, तो इसलिए ये नए तरीके के एजेंडे इजाद किए गए हैं।
All right. Well, let me bring in Advocate Sanjeev Unial, political analyst, and also Advocate Nikhil Jain, an analyst, joining us for more on that. Nikhil, why don't I start with you on what you see in Uttarakhand as opposition? The Congress has said there is no other agenda, and that's why this is happening. But if the seers very strongly believe that they want to preserve the sanctity of a religious site, then why do you think it shouldn't be considered? Like I gave an example of Mecca. Mecca does not allow non-Muslims. You have people all over the world coming to Mecca, but strictly for believers. Why shouldn't it be in India?
First of all, Nabila, happy Republic Day to you and all your viewers. This is the day 76 years ago we adopted this document, the Constitution of India, a secular document that had space for all religions, cultures, practices. And it's rather unfortunate that we're talking about a proposal like this on this particular day. Be that as it may, you raise the point of Mecca, and that's a very valid point. But what my friends from the BJP fail to understand is that there is a difference between Islam and Hinduism. Hinduism is an idea of faith and spirituality and religion where you have many gods, you have many deities, you have different ways of worship, you have different cultures, and it's an inclusionary system of faith, unlike the three Abrahamic religions like Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, where there is one God, monotheistic. They are codified religions. There is no single and only sole single scripture of Hinduism. There are multiple scriptures of Hinduism, unlike a Quran or a Bible, in the case of Christianity and Islam. But the problem is that the BJP hates Muslims so much, Islam so much but they're ironically they're trying to push Hinduism into a very similar silo. And you say that seers want this. I don't think the seers want it, because what I read was that the temple committee chairman, who happens to be a BJP leader, wants it, not a seer. Of course, preserving our culture, the Hindu heritage, our ancient temples has to be a priority for any government, state government, union government, BJP, Congress, doesn't matter. It has to be a priority. But the way you preserve these important ancient sacred sites is to ensure that you don't have influencers making reels, you don't have politicians going with a camera set to do a photo shoot for an election, you don't have some bus terminal or some hotel being built over temple ruins, you don't have bulldozers running over idols and sculptures and mandirs and ancient sites and ghats. It is to respect the ancient traditions like holy snan that our Shankaracharya's and other seers do, and not to beat them up like that's being done in Varanasi. It's not to disrespect our top seers by asking them, "Aapko Shankaracharya ka adhikar kisne de diya? Kagaj dikhao." It is to preserve the culture. This is not preserving Indian culture. Number one, this is illegal and unconstitutional. And number two, and perhaps more important in this particular case, is that it goes against the very ethos of Hinduism. There is no precedent or custom or faith or scripture that says that Kedarnath temple or Badrinath temple or a whole bunch of other Hindu shrines are limited to people who follow the Hindu religion. And lastly, I want to point out this dichotomy for your viewers that it is the BJP and the RSS ideologues which who keep on saying that Hinduism is not a religion. Look, there is a Supreme Court judgment saying that it is a way of life. Everybody who belongs to the Indus Valley civilization is a Hindu. Then what is this point of restricting these, ancient cultural sites of India to people who, worship a particular deity? This is boring to me.
Okay. Advocate Sanjeev Unyal, your take on that. Do you believe that this is constitutionally a decision that the government can take? Because it's also, a site where tourists come. There's a larger repercussion when it comes to, impact on local workers, the traders, the hotels, transport. It's going to be huge losses at the same time. But I don't know, under the constitution, do these religious seers have the right to make a demand of this nature?
Hindu is a religion which is very flexible, first of all. We are not adamant. We are reformist. We have changed our rules and regulations from last 50 years, 100 years. So this community, this religion is very flexible. They are not adamant. So it speaks volume about the depth of Hinduism. And I've seen recently the power of Hindu saints. What happened in Allahabad, in Prayagraj, in Magh, that ceremony also. So the volume, the stature of Mahatmas and Shankaracharyas are very high here. They don't believe, we don't care for political leaders, first of all. So that is the beauty of Hinduism. That is we are so much faith in the Hinduism as well as in the saints, as well as in the, हम अपने धर्म के लिए इतने हमने अभी देखा we have the very strong person who is taking administration, who is doing so much for the state of UP, the chief minister, but we have given a proper weightage to Shankaracharya ji also. So it speaks that so these decisions have been taken here also by top shares, by top, no political leader can take any decision here. So that's why the committee, the Ganga Sabha, the Gangotri Sabha, and the committee of Badri Kedar themselves will take a decision, they will take a call, and government, whatsoever government is there, they have to implement what decisions has been taken from the chiefs, from the saints, and from the committee, Sabha committees who have been nominated members of the particular Char Dhams. So I think political parties has no role at all here. As far as if we say something, then we are confused personality. We don't know what is religion, what Supreme Court says, what is. So it's a monotonous. We have crammed so many things from the books, but practically we are not in the field. We are not in the roots.
Are you someone who would support it, sir? If they close doors for non-Hindus, are you someone who would appreciate?
You have given yourself an example of Makkah.
Yeah.
If we see other religions, what happened in the Makkah? So first of all, I am quite happy that we are comparatively a broad religion, broad-minded religion. So we will definitely accommodate and we'll have a lot of thinking. Sanatan is lagatar chalne wala. No tension. We are not doing anything.
So
with
from what I
talwar
understand, you and Nikhil are on the same lines. That Sanatan does not endorse this. That you are, it is an open faith where, in fact, you say that that's the only faith. Sanatan Dharma believes that that's the only faith that that world has emerged from. So if anything, people go back to it.
Yes,
and
definitely.
Therefore, the doors should be open for people of any religion because Ghar Wapasi can happen anytime.
Yes, of course. Dharmapsi is always welcome, and it
Yes.
will happen.
Okay, so great. I mean, good to know that both of you think the religion does not stand by a philosophy like this. It should ideally be open to anybody who wants to come in and immerse themselves. But thank you very much. We're going to see to what exactly a decision would come from Uttarakhand government soon.